This is BYU Sports Nation, presented by the BYU Store. Simulcast on BYU TV and BYU Radio. Now live from Studio C, it's Spencer Linton and Jarom Jordan.
BYU Sports Nation is live, your day-to-day play-by-play back in Studio C, presented by the BYU Store, official outfitter of BYU fans everywhere. Hope you're enjoying your Monday, July 25th.
It's Pioneer Day observed in
Yes,
Utah.
it is.
But some of you aren't in Utah, so hi.
Fireworks going off within the Beehive State.
All
night.
dogs are in basements.
What's better than fireworks on one day in July? Fireworks for 2 days in July.
I know this isn't our intro. We're going off script here, but Pioneer Day used to be about the pioneers. Now it's just 2nd, 4th of July in Utah. People at the party I was with, they were like playing patriotic music. I was like, where is the Utah State song? Utah, people working. They refused to play the song. I was a little disappointed, I'm going to be honest. But it's a fun holiday.
Okay. Pioneer Day observed. If you're in Utah, hope you're enjoying it. If
July.
you're not in Utah, we love you too. I am Spencer Linton, teamed up alongside a guy who got the Boney Fuller treatment post-Y Awards, Jarom Jordan.
Yeah, shout out to Boney. I don't know what I did or didn't do to deserve this, but Boney posted, every 10 likes, I'll make his sleeves even shorter. So it ended up getting to a ridiculous amount, and then suddenly we were on that SNL sketch with Chris Farley and Patrick Swayze. And what we're not showing you is the shirtless version of this as well. So that was fun. I've always wanted to be Chris Farley on the show, so finally Boney Fuller made it happen.
Let's be honest, Chris Farley stole that sketch 1,000,000%. He's
yes.
the star of the sketch.
Whenever I think of the spirit world, I think of Chris Farley for some reason, and think about like, oh, I can't wait to just see if he's the same dude. Is he like rolling around everywhere? I don't know why, but I always think of him there. Shout out to Chris.
Oh, yeah. Chris Farley energy for this show today. And here is your Holy Shnikes show lineup.
Nice.
The Power 5 recruiting impact. How much has BYU already benefited in football recruiting specifically since their invitation to the Big 12? And how does one even measure that? We'll discuss. Super Bowl champion Dennis Pitta apparently has time for us today.
I was unaware of this. I would have been sick had I known.
Is BYU on the verge of placing multiple tight ends in the National Football League?
Oh.
Plus, Jimmer is back doing Jimmer things at the basketball tournament. Bring on today's BYU Sports Nation headlines.
NC State cancels its series with BYU. They were scheduled to meet in 2024 and 2030. They've never played each other and apparently still won't. That's a team I would like BYU to play at some point in non-conference, but maybe not at the cost of playing Utah. But that series is done. We're going to have a lot of series canceled, obviously, because BYU is going from 12 non-conference games to 3.
Yeah. We are smack dab in the middle of award watch list season.
Let's go.
Right? And we've got some news to get to. Isaac Rex, speaking of tight ends, is on the John Mackey Award watch list, given him the nation's best tight end. Connor Pay on the Remington Trophy watch list, given to the nation's best center. Peyton Wilgar and Ben Bywater on the Butkus Award watch list, which honors the top linebackers, to be determined on the Jim Thorpe Award watch list.
No one was on it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, so it's nobody, no BYU player. Well, just forget I said anything about it.
Yeah.
It's not convenient for our show.
It's inconvenient. Ignore. Jimmer Fredette had 29 points, 5 boards, and a win for the money team, who are in the round of 32 this week in Dayton. TMT plays in the basketball tournament, or TBT, tomorrow at 7 Eastern on ESPN2. It is cool these are on ESPN2 and ESPN.
You can watch Jimmer play basketball.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Mike Farrell lists his top 50 college offensive linemen going into the 2022 college football season, has BYU's Blake Freeland ranked number 5 on that list, and Clark Barrington number 28 on his list. So 2 BYU offensive linemen in the top 30. Best overall offensive lineman according to Mike Farrell.
That's super legit, man. That's 2 of the top 30. Let's go. Daniel Schneeman, don't call him Mr. Schneebly, had 5 hits, 3 RBIs over the weekend for the AA Akron Rubber Ducks. Rubber Ducky of the Cleveland Guardians organization. Congrats to him. Hoping he makes AAA this year and knocks on that Major League.
Yes. How cool is this? Daviana Vaca, representing BYU women's soccer, scored her first international goal with an assist, no less, from her sister, Laveni Vaca.
That's amazing.
Lava, as they call it, received the Player of the Game award. The Tongan national team lost in penalty kicks to Papua New Guinea in the quarterfinals of the Women's Nations Cup. Outstanding scenario, though, for the Vaca sisters.
What a cool experience.
To score and then provide the assist for that international goal.
One time the Fijian men's soccer team came and played BYU. BYU won like 6-0. It was crazy. The men also played the U23 Mexican national team, 2-2. Yeah. That was incredible.
Yes.
So yeah, international play, pretty awesome experience.
Oh, so cool. On that note, let's rise and shout. It's time for What's Trending.
You're talking about it, and so are we. It's What's Trending on BYU Sports Nation.
What's Trending, presented by BYU Food to Go, the MVP of your next event. And we are discussing Power 5 recruiting. Big 12 recruiting for BYU football, which naturally has us thinking, hit it!
Countdown to the Big 12. 341 days until BYU enters the Big 12. But my friend, the recruiting impact, we believe, is already in somewhat of an effect. Jarom, my first question for you is, and I have a few, how quickly will Big 12 membership pay dividends in recruiting specifically for BYU football?
We'd like to think, like you just said, that it's already happening. Like the moment that BYU was invited, it was happening. However, I'm not sure that's the case per se. I think Christopher Brooks probably comes here whether BYU's independent or not, because he's not playing in the Big 12, right? The Nakuas came as an independent. Kingsley Suamataia came as an independent, I believe, right, before the season. So those guys, not necessarily. I think we'll see this more in the future, but BYU, I don't know that it affects BYU as much as maybe we think. Let me explain why. I think BYU is going after a certain type of athlete already, member of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints in many instances, who wants to live the honor code, right? That's a unique type of athlete, even within the church. There's some people within the church that don't want to go to BYU. They're like, what? What a shocker. Oh, my gosh. Bryce Harper, I hate BYU. Like, not everyone who's a member loves this school, and that's okay. But I do think it will affect BYU where there are some kids, like a Britton Covey in the past, had BYU been in the Big 12 and had the right people at BYU wanted Britton. The people, they didn't want him. They felt they had Mitchell Juergens. They felt good about that. Obviously, that's a mistake in hindsight. That a Britton Covey type, a Gabe Reed type, a Houston Heimuli originally type, that they can come to BYU where they go, okay, they're in a Power 5 league. If I just don't want to go there. I might want to go to Stanford, or I might want to go to Utah.
Sure.
We think, obviously, coming to BYU is a great thing, but everyone's different. Everyone wants other things. I do think, so that type of kid. Then the other type of kid is the Bronco Mendenhall kid. I want to play on a school that plays the school I wanted to go to, or I want to play in a league that plays against the teams that I grew up in that area. So maybe there are members of the church that aren't members of the church that want to play in the Big 12, that want to play good, solid, big-time football at an institution that's unique where you don't have certain distractions. Then you get some of those guys as well. So I think that will happen. I don't know that we can quantify it as much. Like Gabe Judy Lally maybe might be an example of this from Vanderbilt, who wanted to come here and I believe has a couple of years, not just the one grad transfer year. But I think that will happen and will happen soon. And we're seeing it with some of the freshmen. But Spence, it's hard. Like a Colin Chandler is a Big 12 get. That's one. That isn't football per se. But there are kids in school that maybe wanted to come to BYU regardless of conference affiliation. We hope that continues to go up because, as we'll look at in a second, the recruiting rankings do not reflect kindly on BYU.
Well, and more importantly, even though the recruiting rankings have not been good the past few years specifically, how much has that really impacted BYU on the field?
How much do we care? Or is it it's inconvenient and it's not very good, so we just dismiss it? Like, is it okay to dismiss
BYU
it?
won 11 games in 2020 and then came back and won 10 and beat 6 Power 5 teams in 2021.
Okay, here they are.
With a recruiting ranking going into the 2021 season of 77. I mean, no question. Like, we're looking at, 130-ish Division I football teams. BYU's in the lower half right now, but
those are bad.
Just maybe 2022 right now, according to 24/7 Sports, BYU at number 55.
And that one's done from February.
So
23 will be next year.
Okay, so we see a marked difference, okay, plus 22, but how will that translate on the field, where it matters most?
How many years after that ranking can we say, okay, now they're supposed to be good? With BYU, when you sign a kid, the majority of the recruiting class is a kid that goes on a mission.
So we got to look back at like the 2017 class to figure out, like, did that really pan out? And are they the reason that 2021 was awesome?
I think we have to go back 5 years to,
with BYU
after their
specifically.
junior year. Yes. Now, the difference is you will get some of these Power 5 kind of 4-star transfers who make an immediate impact.
Okay.
Like when you get Puka Nacua as a third-year sophomore, he makes an impact in year 1.
Sure.
He didn't have to wait, go on a mission, give him – honestly, you have to give a kid 2 years before they make the real impact they're going to make. Like we go, oh, you're a sophomore. You should be, like, amazing now. It's like, you know when Foose is really going to be his best self? When he's a senior, when he's a junior. This isn't high school where you go, crap, you're in 8th grade, I have to offer you. With a projection that you're going to be good. In college, we need someone to play their junior year to know whether they're really good. I know the expectations are you do it faster, but the real shot for someone, like just think Alex Barcelo after his first 2 years. This guy stinks. This guy's a bust. No, you had to give him a couple years of BYU and a 5th year to go, that's one of the greatest players in BYU history.
It is very interesting because BYU is in a dynamic unlike any other school with mission players coming back. Like it's almost like a 6 to 7 year time period at points where it's like, okay, well, BYU's 2015 class was awesome, and some of those kids are seniors in 2022. Wow, that was awesome. Like it panned out. Yeah, it's hard to know. It's hard to be able to truly know how much recruiting rankings matter at a school like BYU specifically, because it's all over the map. And how much do transfers play into this too, right? We're seeing, understandably, some high-level players transfer to BYU. You mentioned Christopher Brooks and Houston Hamuli. I'm with you on that. Like, they're not coming to BYU because BYU got invited to the Big 12. They're not even going to play in the Big 12.
They're not going to,
No, it came for different reasons. Kingsley Suamataia, well, technically, I believe he gave the verbal in October, so it was like a month-ish after the Big 12 invite. But he told us he wanted to be close to family.
He came to...
It was about family and BYU.
Yes.
So even
history here with
Kingsley. We didn't ask Gabe Judy Lally when we talked to him on the show specifically, like, did you pick BYU because of the Big 12? But maybe. I mean, maybe.
Having come from the SEC, certainly he wants to play big-time football.
Yeah.
And you have a better shot at that here than Vanderbilt, certainly.
Well, he's going to play at least one Big 12 SEC school this year in Arkansas.
That's right.
You know, he's got a bunch of Power 5s to prove his mettle against, and joins a really nice secondary. But again, like with transfers, missions, and like this 7-year time collaboration, how do you really know at a place like BYU how much recruiting matters?
Well, it certainly matters.
Because you could have a terrible recruiting class, but 2 years later, like, oh, here come the Nakuas.
Well,
and here comes Kingsley Suamataia. Oh, now it's awesome.
So in 2018, 2 years before 2020, BYU was 78th in 24/7, 94th in Rivals. By the way, there's 2 years in Rivals. BYU doesn't even register in the top 93.
So was Zach Wilson part of that? Was Zach Wilson part of that class?
Zach Wilson's a 3-star. He doesn't move the needle.
So
how, this, right?
Again, how do you know?
Let me tell you what BYU's better at than recruiting. And I don't think BYU's bad. I think BYU's good. And let's talk about how recruiting works in a second. But BYU is excellent at development. Excellent. Zach Wilson, 3-star to number 2 pick. Tyler Algier from walk-on to 5th-round pick.
Jaron Hall,
3-star to maybe 1st-rounder next year.
Projected late 1st-round pick.
Aaron Roderick and BYU's kept this staff together, by the way.
Blake Freeland, Clark Barrington,
Blake Freeland from
Brady Christensen,
high school quarterback to potential 1st-round left tackle.
Primarily 2-star guys.
Like, are you kidding me?
2-star guys.
Ziggy Ansah, nobody from Ghana to 5th pick. Like, BYU is elite at development of these guys. Now, what BYU can't rely on that, though. They have to have talent because they're ahead of the curve in terms of their development. Okay, if you're talented and you get developed, like Puka Nacua. Puka Nacua comes out of high school as a 4-star guy. That means he's an NFL guy. Let's talk about how ratings work. So like in 8th, 9th grade, they have these big camps, and they invite kids that can afford it, right? Well, they invite everyone, but not everyone can afford it. Peyton Wilgar can't afford it coming out of St. George, so he doesn't even have an offer from BYU. Peyton Wilgar is a 4-star college player. You know what I mean? Yeah. You could say 3- or 4-star college player. Blake Freeland is now a 5-star college player, if you will. They get ranked based on not college potential. This is a misconception that happens a lot. But rather
potential.
NFL potential.
Pro potential.
5-star, they only hand out 32, one for each NFL team. 4 stars, that's basically you're going to be a day 2 pick, second and third round. And then 5, 6, 7 is like, there's hundreds of them that are 3 stars, okay? So if you have a 3-star, that means we think you could be drafted on day 3 of the NFL draft. 4-star, right, day 2, and 5 stars day 1. I don't need BYU to get a bunch of 5 stars, Spence. What I think BYU needs is more 4 stars. More 4 stars that continue to develop. Because 4 stars start. 4 stars come in and start. Nick Kurtz came in as what? The number 5 wide receiver out of JUCO. And people were like, dude, I was kind of disappointed by Nick Kurtz. I was like, no, Nick Kurtz had 600 yards receiving and started and helped win some pivotal games in 2015.
Absolutely.
At a minimum, that's
Nebraska
what he
and
is.
Cincinnati specifically.
Yes, more 4 stars. More kids who are looking for a school like BYU. More of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saint kid that would have gone to Stanford or Utah now that BYU's in the Big 12. That's how you make the jump. But the ultimate quantifier, as you mentioned, is on the field. If BYU wins, great. I don't care what they're ranked in Rivals 24/7 if BYU wins.
I'll give you one name that matches all of your the things you're shooting for. Isamoah is a guy probably wouldn't have come to BYU.
Was going to go to Utah. Dad went to Utah.
Big 12 invite comes. BYU's winning. He ends up at BYU.
Let's go.
That's the type of guy you're talking about.
Colin Chandler would have gone to Utah. Easy.
Right.
Would have gone to Utah.
Well, it's going to be nice to have Mr. Moa and hopefully several other 4 stars and maybe some, the proverbial chip on the shoulder 3 stars and 2 stars that come in.
Get a lot of those.
When BYU hits Big 12 play. But more importantly, how are these 3 and 4 stars going to show up when BYU has an actual game in how many days?
Countdown to the Bulls.
40 days. That's 2 countdowns in the first segment of the show. I told you we're rolling.
Hey, we're all going to start fasting today until the game, right? Everyone on board with that?
It's a negatory, good buddy.
No?
Negatory, good buddy.
I was just thinking like breakfast only.
40, I can do that. 40 days until BYU takes on USF. I got some thoughts about that game. Man, we need to tackle the schedule, too. We got some stuff to talk about over the next 40 days.
Yeah, 40 days, bro.
Woo! Our question of the day. How will you know if BYU football makes a recruiting jump as a member of the Big 12? How do you know that they're making the jump? Let's go to Voice of the Nation.
This is the Voice of the Nation on BYU Sports Nation.
Tyson Peterson answers on Twitter. It's all about depth. If BYU has Dallin Holker 2.0, 3.0, 4.0, and Holker next year, then I'll know. Same goes for guys like Puka and Max Tooley.
BYU doesn't have trouble getting these guys. What they need is more of them so that your backups are close to that level, and then you can actually win a conference championship.
Well, it's interesting you bring that up because on Media Day, much of which was presented here in Studio C, Kalani Sitake said, I feel like we're getting to the point where we do have the depth behind those top-tier guys.
Then you don't lose to UAB in the bowl game. You know what I mean? And then you go 11-2, and now we feel even better about last year.
Sure. Yeah.
Let's
avoid the walking wounded scenarios.
No more of those, please. Yeah, let's go. Like, did we want BYU to be in the New Year's Six last year? If that's how they were going to be in the bowl game?
I think Jaron Hall would have played.
I think so too. But it was more than Jaron.
Sure.
Yeah.
Sure.
Okay, right. Coming up, watch Spencer Linton hang from a bar or monkey bar at Lagoon. What happened?
I'll explain it. Plus, we are making time for Dennis Pitta, and he is apparently making time for us. It's a reunion on BYU Sports Nation. Are the Cougars tight end you? Does he think so? We'll ask him next. Stay with us.
This portion of BYU Sports Nation is presented by BYU Food to Go, the MVP of your next event.
Professor Rock here.
The Food Nanny.
Chandler Scott here.
Samry.
Hey, everyone.
Hello.
I just want to tell you about this amazing,
excellent, cool account called My Style.
My Style checking. I'm talking travel points.
Gift card. Concert tickets.
All just for using my account.
That's My Style.
So check it out.
Give it a shot.
Open your My Style checking account today.
Trio Orem Senior Living believes in empowering seniors to live life to the fullest. We help eliminate stress out of daily life. When you live at Trio, less time focusing on housework means you can socialize at one of our many events. With safety in mind, of course. And did we mention our spacious apartments with modern amenities? Learn more about setting up a private tour at trioorum.com.
Do you not know the groom's name?
I missed it on our first date, and it's way too late to ask.
Whenever you experience something funny, the first thing you want to do is share it with your loved ones. Seeing that comedy helped us through things, we want to use that to help other people in a way.
We had one kid whose make-a-wish was to come to Studio C. It made me be these goofy sketches mean a lot to people.
BYU Sports Nation is presented by the BYU Store, official outfitter of BYU fans everywhere.
After Further Review is back. Tomorrow night, 7 Eastern Time, Tyler Allgeier's run into history as Dave Blaine and David recap the greatest single-season rushing year in BYU history. Tomorrow night on the BYU TV app, 7 Eastern Time. The boys are back in town.
Tyler
in this
Allgeier,
studio.
Y Award Athlete of the Year.
Male Athlete of the Year. That was a loaded field.
Yes, it was. But, hey, when you run for a school record in yards in a season against
beat out
that
a
schedule,
national champ.
that's pretty impressive. We're live at Studio C. This is your day-to-day BYU Sports play-by-play. I am Spencer Linton, teamed up with Jarom Jordan. We now welcome to the show, because he's got time for us, and we've got time for him.
We always have time for Dennis. We just run out.
Super Bowl champion, former BYU great, Dennis Pitta. Dennis, great to have you back on the show.
Thank you, guys. I appreciate you making time. Can I give Jarom one quick compliment, a rare compliment?
Sure.
I think your hair looks really, really good this morning.
Oh, thanks, man.
The part is sharp. The off is tight. It looks good.
Thank you.
You pick yourself up, and I think a compliment is deserved.
Thank you. I don't quite have the vertical volume that you have. I do want to ask, is that a Bob Ross behind you?
No, this is a Linda Pitta original somewhere behind me. There.
Oh, not.
Are you trying to allude to the fact that, yes, I'm living with my parents right now?
I did not know that.
You didn't? Okay. Well, we talked about it in the break.
Well,
and,
this is TV magic, Dennis.
I think you were trying to embarrass me, and yes, I am living with my parents, okay? I just recently graduated college. I'm back with my parents. I'm just trying to get my feet underneath me. And but things are trending in the right direction for me, so I appreciate you asking.
There are easier ways to get babysitters, right?
I'll tell you, it is nice to have built-in babysitters.
Yes.
But we have like a 3-month-old, so it's still tough to leave her with anybody.
True. You need that quiet room at the movie theater.
Yeah, we recently moved to California, so we're living in Carlsbad right now.
Ooh.
We're waiting on our house to be finished, and live with my parents with 4 kids, and it's an exciting time for the Pitta family.
Well, Dennis,
we're doing really well.
Thanks for coming on the show. We just wanted the life update. We didn't want to ask about anything else. So,
as a matter of fact,
appreciate the time.
Ben was worried that I wasn't going to get on the Zoom in time because I'm on my parents' computer right now. I had to download Zoom onto their computer, so it took me some extra time. And we're here. We made it. Technology is hard, and we overcame it.
Listen, one day I would like to have a Wikipedia page, but I'm going to go to yours today and edit it and say, lives with parents. It's like Super Bowl champ, NCAA records, lives with parents.
It's been a steep drop-off for me over the last handful of years. Yeah, but here we are.
Dennis Pitta joining us over Zoom from his parents' house in Carlsbad, California, while he waits for his home in Orange County to be built. Okay, Dennis, now that we've got all the important stuff out of the way, I do need to ask about one thing, because you left a relationship in Arizona coaching with, your brother-in-law, Max Hall, and your good friend Ty Detmer at American Leadership Academy. So is there coaching in the future for you in Carlsbad in Southern California, or is that just an Arizona thing?
No, I think at some point I'll end up coaching out in Orange County. I don't live far from John Beck, and he's already putting the full court press on me to come and coach with him. He's helps out at San Clemente High School, which is, where Isaac Rex is from. Byron Rex is a coach there. Johns helps as the quarterback coach. And so at some point, I think I may venture down there and help coach. I've already talked with their head coach there. So I coached a lot of special teams too with Max and Ty out at ALA in Arizona. And John reached out to me like a couple months ago. He's like, hey, our special teams coordinator just left. We need you to come be our special teams coordinator in San Clemente. And I was like, John, I'm not even going to be living out there. I'm not commuting 45 minutes from Carlsbad up there just to be your special teams coach when I don't even have a son in the program yet. So just hold your horses. I'll get there at some point, but I have to just wait a little bit. High school coaching actually takes up a lot of time, especially when you're an unpaid volunteer and you're trying to justify to your wife that you need to still be there every afternoon. But it's a ton of fun, and I do want to continue doing that at some point. But I think I'll take a year or two off and try and get my feet underneath me. I gotta move into a house. I gotta get out of my parents' basement, and some things have to kind of turn around for me before I can commit to that.
We're talking to Dennis Pitta, who lives with his parents and is on sabbatical from high school special teams coordinator coaching on BYU Football. Dennis, we're talking about
unpaid volunteer, yes.
Yeah, unpaid volunteer. Sounds like us the last 10 years here. When it comes to recruiting, we were talking about when BYU will kind of take this. We think they'll take a jump in the Big 12 in terms of talent. The recruiting rankings have not been favorable, generally speaking, for BYU the last 6 or 7 years. When and how? When will BYU take a jump, if you think that? And how will we quantify that, in your opinion?
Yeah, I mean, recruiting is always difficult. I don't think BYU will ever take this momentous leap into a different stratosphere as far as recruiting goes. I think you're always going to kind of be in that same echelon. Now, the Big 12 will help for sure. I mean, that will draw more people being able to be on that big of a stage and compete at that Power 5 conference level. But I think recruiting is going to kind of stay where it is for the most part. I just think at BYU, it's a unique place. You have to have a certain type of player, a certain type of individual. And, we've seen in the past them just kind of bring in anybody I think in the Croton era comes to mind, and it just doesn't always work properly, no matter how talented the kid is. I think there's a certain element, in their personality and in kind of, their value system and all that has to align. And so it does attract a unique recruit, which I think is a great thing for BYU, but it's also a challenge for recruiting, obviously. And you're not going to always get, all these 5-star and 4-star recruits to come there. But that being said, you can get, a handful of those guys and get some other guys into the program that you can kind of build and develop and still have a really successful program like we've seen over the last handful of years.
If it's generally the same, like you said, do you feel like BYU can win a Big 12 title, or does it have to get to a certain level to actually win that?
No, I think we've seen teams in the past that would have been right there. I think, I go back to the John Beck couple of years that he was the quarterback, then with Max Hall in our group. I think, and even just a couple of years ago with Zach and those guys, I think the talent is there. I don't think you're going to have a consistent, every year competitive team that's going to, push for a Big 12 championship. But I think you're going to have teams every so often that will rise to that level, and you'll have kind of the right talent around each other and the right guy at quarterback, and you'll be able to make a push for that. It's not going to be easy. I mean, don't get me wrong, but I think you absolutely can compete for that. And, and when you have a special group in there, you've got, an old senior quarterback or an experienced quarterback, you can make a run at it.
Dennis Pitta is with us on BYU Sports Nation. Let's focus in on the BYU tight end specifically. And I'd like to talk about Isaac Rex, who, by the way, since we're talking recruiting, he was part of the 2017 class. He was a 3-star. that class was ranked 63rd overall. Okay? Okay. So Isaac Rex, all the way back in 2017. Here we are in 2022, Dennis. And he's on some NFL radars for sure, including Mel Kiper of ESPN. He says he's one of BYU's top 4 NFL prospects. What are your expectations for a guy like Isaac Rex in 2022?
Well, I don't put a lot of stock into stars coming out of high school. As you guys know, I think I was a 0-star recruit, and it worked out all right for me.
Yes, it did.
I don't know. You're living at home now.
3 stars, I would have taken 3 stars. 3 stars sounds pretty good right now compared to where I came from. But, you know, recruiting's such a crapshoot. I mean, you can never – who knows who really is a 5-star, 4-star, 3-star. So much is circumstance, so much is where you play, so much is the competition you're playing against. Anyways, I don't put a lot of stock into that. But that being said, I think Isaac Rex is absolutely an NFL guy and should be getting the attention that he's getting right now. He had a monster freshman year, you know, injuries last year, and they just didn't quite get the tight end involved like we had all had hoped the previous season. But, you know, he's a guy that should be on everybody's radar. And you know, he suffered a gruesome injury, and hopefully he can come back 100% from that and be the same guy that we saw him in, you know, 2 years ago with Zach Wilson and catching all those tight end or all those touchdowns. And that's really his greatest strength, because he's a massive red zone target and threat, and somebody that you have to account for when you get down closer to the end zone, because he's just such a big body. He's got great hands. He can catch the ball away from his frame and create difficult matchups in tight windows back there, which we saw him do with Zach as his quarterback. And so I love Isaac and his potential, but I think when you talk about the tight ends as a whole at BYU right now, I think you have to include Dallin Holker in that mix. And he's worked extremely hard. He's a guy that can really be a downfield threat and somebody who can catch a ton of balls this year. I saw him in the offseason, and he was out there. He had his wife catching jug machines for him, or shooting jugs off to him, and he's catching it. And, you know, he's just out there all by himself. He's a guy who's been putting in the work, you know, away from the team stuff, and a guy that's really trying to get himself ready for a big season. And you talk to the coaches there, and I think they all really want to get him involved. They understand the talent level there and what he can bring to the table and the mismatches he can create with his speed and his athleticism. And so with Isaac and with Dallin, those two guys can really be a great tandem at tight end. And I'm excited to watch both of them on the field.
100%. Those guys are studs. Okay, let's ask you about Matt Bushman. He almost made the playoff roster due to some injuries with the Chiefs. He was at least in the box for the Super Bowl, had a great seat there. What's the key for Matt Bushman to be able to stick in the NFL?
Yeah, I've had a couple conversations with Matt about kind of the NFL and all that stuff. A lot of it was to draft. And as a guy who's kind of on the back end of the depth chart on tight end, which he's going to be entering as an undrafted free agent, you have to be a special teams player. You have to be a dude that they can put out on the field in special teams, because that adds value to you. You can't just be a one-dimensional player when you're not the starter, especially at the tight end position. If you're not a core special teams player, there's not a lot of justification they'll have to keep you on the roster. Now, that being said, you know, I told him to focus a lot on special teams, but also to be able to make it in the NFL, you have to do something really, really well. And I don't think anybody's expecting Matt to go out there and be a punishing blocker. I certainly wasn't. That wasn't part of my game. That wasn't something that I was even asked to really do. But what you have to do is do something really well. And what Matt does really well is his ability to go up and make tough catches. And a lot like I talked about Isaac, Matt can go up and he's got great hands. He can go up and catch the ball away from his body. He can catch it over people. He can make those tough contested catches. And that's something he does really, really well. And that's what he has to focus on. And that's the thing he has to show at practice day in and day out, that he can go up, and even though he's covered, he can make a tough catch. Because that's a valuable thing in the NFL. And that's something, you don't get a lot of separation in the NFL, but if you can make tough catches, they'll find a spot for you. And I think if Matt can just do that and continue to get better at that thing that he's already really, really good at, he'll find a place in the NFL. And I've talked to Chad Lewis a couple times, and it seems like it's going really well for him. And hopefully he can find a home and find a spot and find a way to get on the field.
BYU on a mission to become tight end university once again. Dennis Pitta is certainly a large part of that. who knows, maybe this is the next wave with Isaac Rex and Dallin Holker, Matt Bushman we just talked about. We'll see. Dennis, thanks for joining us live from your parents' basement. We know how busy you are on this sabbatical as a special teams coordinator.
I'm a unemployed special teams coordinator, and my parents don't have a basement, but yes, I'm on the first floor of 2 floors, and it's going really well. Thank you for asking. Jarom, I'm glad we could have a civil conversation.
Yeah.
Your hair looks phenomenal. Spencer, you're my favorite as always. I hope you guys do well.
You got it.
Thank you.
Thanks, Thanks, Dennis. Great to catch up with you, bro. We'll do it again soon.
All right.
Dennis
Take
Pitta.
care, you two.
Dennis Pitta.
Shout out to
BYU
Linda
Sports Nation.
Pitta. Excellent painting. In the background. I mean, that was fun fact. Paul James, incredible artist, longtime voice of the Cougars on KSL Radio.
Yeah.
Incredible artist. His house. Went to his house one time. Chock full of his awesome paintings. Just incredible. So pressure's on Greg Wrubell.
Now, come on, Greg.
To paint.
Where's your artistry, man?
His artistry is mostly on Twitter, outside of that. Coming up, Jimmer Fredette goes off in the basketball tournament yesterday. What does it mean?
And BYU football to the Frisco Bowl in Texas.
Yay.
Do we love it? Hate it? Maybe a little both? And who do they have them slated to play? This is BYU Sports Nation.
More McChesney highlights.
Hi, Spencer Linton here, letting you know when your company joins the BYU team as a corporate partner, your brand can be featured in sports programming on BYU TV and BYU Radio. In addition to all of the great games, you can be part of the BYU coaches shows, place your message in Countdown to Kickoff, basketball pre- and post-game shows, and each weekday on BYU Sports Nation. We invite your team to join ours and become a corporate sponsor of BYU Athletics. For details, email sponsorship@byu.edu today.
Quick crack. Wash all you want. Don't drive dirty.
This is where we dominate. Our playground. Place of business. This is our promised land, where we seek to find ourselves. And we're here to make sure the spaces our best prove themselves on appear how they should. Intermountain Healthcare, official medical provider for BYU Athletics.
Gather the family for a midweek pick-me-up with an all-new lineup Wednesdays on BYU TV.
Is that cool? Is that okay?
You want inspiring? Yeah, we got that. Fun? Definitely. And surprising? Well, you'll just have to find out. Enjoy a marathon of good works to lift and inspire you for the rest of your week. See it all Wednesdays on BYU TV or anytime on the free app.
This portion of BYU Sports Nation is presented by Maersk, your e-commerce logistics shipping partner.
To interact with the show and get content throughout the day, follow us on our social media platforms of Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, and the TikTok.
This is BYU Sports Nation if you're new to this program or this channel.
Welcome. Great to have you.
Alongside Jarom Jordan, I am Spencer Linton. And this is the point of the show where we whip it. The Cougar Whip Around, presented by Maersk, your e-commerce logistics shipping partner.
Thank you for that.
You're welcome.
College football news projects BYU playing Missouri, a rematch of the 1983 Holiday Bowl. In the Frisco Bowl on Saturday, December 17th. What do you love and what do you hate about this?
I love that BYU has a bowl game history with Missouri, as you brought up, and that was victorious for BYU and produced one of the top plays all time in BYU history. So that was my first thought. Oh, BYU Mizzou. Okay, 83 Holiday Bowl. I like it. It's a Power 5 opponent. Why not? You know, this day and age, like who cares? BYU's going to the Big 12. Throw it on, yeah. I like that it's early in the bowl season, but it's not a New Year's Six game. It's not a big time bowl game, so that's what I don't like about it.
Right. I love it because Missouri's an intriguing matchup. Just depends what you want. Do you want location or do you want opponent? Because rarely do you get to combine those two. The early bowl game I actually like. I know a lot of fans don't like it because the early bowl games are kind of a sign of like, meaningless bowl games. This just in, most bowls are meaningless outside of the New Year's Six and like Capital One and Alamo and
a few
Holiday,
other New Year's Day bowls.
Like those ones. Not even on New Year's Day per se. But like Alamo's a big time bowl, not on New Year's Day. All good.
All right. Mike Farrell Sports puts both Blake Freeland and Connor Pay in his top 30 offensive linemen moving into the 2022 college football season. Jarom, does this increase your faith in the BYU offensive line, or are you kind of over the preseason hype for all the BYU big men in the front?
No, I love it, and it's well-deserved. It's exactly what they deserve, which is they are big time. They will be draft picks.
Man, I'm with you. Like, it just adds to my confidence in this, the upfront men there to have the ability to go do some road grading and be successful.
Quarterback, then O-line is where I want the hype. Everyone else is a bonus to that. Like, it needs to start there for me.
Feeling good about this.
Peyton Manning posted a photo of himself with Patrick Mahomes over the weekend. Mahomes wearing a shirt with Andy Reid's BYU photo on it. How much would you pay for this shirt?
$30.
The Patrick Mahomes worn shirt, I would pay much more for it if that was the version it came out. How much would you pay for Peyton's shirt? He's got a little belly sweat going on
there. I don't know that I would buy that.
Probably an XL wouldn't fit me.
I'd pay $30 for the Andy Reid T-shirt that Patrick Mahomes is wearing.
I want the shades that Patrick was wearing.
I found a T-shirt, by the way, on Nike's website that you would love that I think I'm going to buy. It's totally your style. I'll show you after the program.
Oh, great.
All right.
You're going to buy it for me or for you?
No, I'm just going to show you, and then I'm going to buy it.
Oh, okay, cool.
I'm going to make you jealous. That's kind of what
I'm hey, look at the shirt I'm buying that I think you like.
You like it, so I got it. Yes,
thanks,
juvenile, junior high malarkey. Okay, Tony Finau wins the 3M championship yesterday, which is awesome on the PGA Tour. Whole family there to celebrate with him. Do we now advance him from honorary BYU Cougar to an actual BYU Cougar?
No, you have to take a class.
You have to
get
be an actual BYU student?
Does he get like a ton of adhesives for winning that tournament? He's like, I can put whatever I want on the wall.
No marks. I don't have to put anything on my wall.
You guys know this is markless?
Great. No nails in the walls.
Yeah, that's great. Jake Hansen, a man on the internet.
Hi, Jake.
Tweeted a video of you, Spencer, hanging on a pull-up bar or monkey bar at Lagoon.
Yeah.
For 1 minute and 8 seconds, apparently. What's going on here?
Okay, so what you do is you have to hang on this bar as long as you possibly can.
Yeah.
You can't do any pull-ups. You can't maneuver. Like, you just have to hold still.
Yeah.
And as you weaken, the bar rotates.
Oh.
So it's not like the bar is still, like the bar spins.
Okay.
So it requires great hand strength, great forearm strength. It is super tough.
And you're really good at this?
Well, I mean, I'm okay
In your professional opinion, you're good at this?
Listen, I won a pretty decent-sized prize for my kids going to minute 8.
Oh, you beat someone at this? Like it was a competition?
No, it's just like you go against yourself. You can go head-to-head, like if you want to have the competition, but like primarily you're just like going like if you go 30 seconds.
How do you earn a prize? Yeah, you get
30 seconds is a small prize, like a minute's like a medium-sized prize, a minute 30 is a large prize, and if you go 2 minutes, which I've never seen anybody do,
2 minutes is crazy.
Jumbo prize.
That's crazy.
Yeah. So I saw some Corner Canyon and Spanish Fork football players doing it.
Nice.
And some of them didn't go longer than me, so I was feeling pretty good about myself. I was feeling pretty good.
Wow.
I was like, you have no excuse, kids.
Well, you guys are like in the weight room every day. Okay? Coming up, rise and shout out to New Beginnings.
And has Jimmer Mania returned again? We discuss on BYU Sports Nation. Lovely.
Tim Daly Ford in Spanish Fork offers a large inventory of Ford vehicles, including a selection of cars and trucks, providing a range of transportation choices. From the Ford Fusion sedan and the Edge crossover SUV to a range of pickups including the F-150. Each product line comes with options to enhance performance, comfort, and safety. Think Ford, think Tim Daly Ford in Spanish Fork.
I know what it's like to be overlooked, to be doubted, to fly under the radar. I only had one offer coming out of high school, but I was ready for every moment, every opportunity, and every shot that I got. Now I'm playing professional basketball, aiming to be one of the best shooters on the planet. And I'm just getting started. Be ready for your moment with Rapid Reboot, the future of rapid recovery.
It's my senior year, but I still have so much to do.
Doing what's right isn't always easy.
You can't let this injustice stand. I'm not you, Polly. You bought a factory. We're supposed to make these decisions together.
I have no idea what your future holds, but I believe that you can change the world.
BYU Sports Nation is presented by the BYU Store, official outfitter of BYU fans everywhere.
Friday, it's the final BYU Sports Nation special of the summer as we look back at the 2020 season. BYU football performing in a pandemic. Tune in Friday, noon Eastern on BYU TV and BYU Radio. And the reason we're back the next Friday live is because fall camp will be in next week, man.
Let's go.
Let's go.
Welcome back to BYU Sports Nation. We are live in Studio C. And that 2020 season was special, right? Looking back on those 2016 and 2017 recruits that actually made that happen. How much does recruiting matter?
What's the year we're saying? Is it 5 years after? 4 years after?
I probably 4 to 5.
I think it's 5. Let me explain quickly why. Because 2 years from Mish for a lot of the guys. And then I'm going to give the people that got back their junior year.
Okay.
5.
Okay.
5 or 6.
Well, if you're not a Michigan guy,
then it should be 3.
Then it's 3. Which a number of those guys, 2017 class, were
their
making
mission was 2020. Tyler Allgeier's mission was to run for a lot of yards.
Jimmer Fredette made his debut in the 2022 The Basketball Tournament. Dropped a mere 29 points. You know,
disappointed.
Things.
Not 130.
And listen, when Jimmer does something great, social media reacts, right? The basketball tournament tweeting out, hey, there goes Jimmer Fredette, the greatest scorer the basketball tournament has ever seen. Okay.
Is that Kevin Durant 2011? Is that you?
Well, there are others that have added commentary and some well-cogitated commentary at that.
Well-cogitated.
Yes.
Thank you for that. Jeff Johnston, you can follow him at JeffJBYU on Twitter. He didn't pay me to say that. Not 1, the Jazz signed Jimmer as part of their tanking strategy. 2, fans go bonkers cheering for Jimmer. 3, the Jazz have a weirdly successful season and win a playoff series or 2. What? You had me until that part. 4, 15 to 20 years later, Tank Note, the greatest sports movie ever, hits theaters and recounts the tale. Danny Ainge would be a huge part of that, too.
Now, if you're not familiar with the Jazz and their monikers,
note.
Take Note is their hashtag, but Tank
Because there's so many jazz musicians in Salt Lake.
That's really funny, Jeff. That's really funny.
That's
man.
great.
I am not opposed to, like, some team. If you want to sell tickets and sell merchandise, like, if that's your play, sign Jimmer Fredette. Like, that will happen.
All we want is for Jimmer to get the ball. No one's going to give him the ball.
Nobody, unfortunately.
Homie has to go to China to get the ball, which is a bummer, right?
And I don't think he's going back to China. Now, we did ask Jimmer a little under a month ago, back on June 28th, about his basketball plans following the basketball tournament, and this was his response.
It's going to definitely take the right situation for me to go into. I'm not worried necessarily as much about the money of it or anything like that. I'm more concerned about lifestyle, family, being able to enjoy my time wherever it is that I go. So I'm going to probably wait my time and see what that situation is and kind of figure it out at that point.
Okay, lifestyle and family. Now, to me, that screams staying in America after all of his international travels. So maybe he ends back up in the G League because he said money doesn't matter. Does he just want to play?
Money doesn't matter? Provo Rec.
Does he want to play in the G League?
Denver Rec.
Like Jimmer was an all-star in the G League and was fantastic for the Westchester Knicks. Does he want to play for the Denver Nuggets G League team?
But the point of the G League is to get to the NBA.
Sure, but
I think he went to Europe. He was at Panathinaikos in Greece. It wasn't a great fit. They just played everybody like 25 minutes. He didn't get the ball at the usage rate wasn't what he wanted. Living in China, he did that for several years.
He scored over 73 times in China.
It's been a hard thing during the pandemic. He talked to us about multiple times. So, yeah, I'm interested in where he goes. But also, Jimmer's 33. We're at the end of the deal here. He's getting older as a basketball player. Whitney had their third kid. It was a hard pregnancy. He stayed home last year, essentially an off-season, a sabbatical, if you will, unlike Dennis Pitta's special teams coordination sabbatical, like an actual sabbatical. But, yeah, I'm not sure where the best fit is because in Europe, I'm wondering if the usage rate will be high enough to sort of appease his desires as a player. We know how good he is when the usage rate is high. Not everyone is willing to give it to him.
Listen, if Jimmer Fredette decides to play in the G League, like, I hope it's in Denver or Utah, so we can go watch him. So I'd go watch him all the time.
Jimmer doesn't have an ego, but I want him to because I don't want him to just be in the G League.
But if family and money's not important and it's about like the fit and the lifestyle of family, where's he going to go? Like other than the G League?
Like G League's beans, it's just a play, I guess.
But
like,
is that what it matters most?
His end game's not the NBA anymore. You know, obviously it's been Europe and China and whatnot. So we'll see. With 3 kids, things change, and he's 33. So I don't know.
Do you want to move your family to Europe somewhere at this juncture? I don't know. Yeah. I mean,
and everyone's different. Like some families like embrace that, others do not. Like they got a pretty good setup. Whitney's got her horses in Denver. You know what I mean? Like families there, it's a great setup. Yeah, we'll see.
Denver's a quick.
She's like legit, like rides horses and like competed.
Denver's a very quick flight or private jet from Salt Lake City if Jimmer wants to come back to Utah and play for the Stars. And just see what the NBA path is.
And if the Jazz do trade,
maybe there's a few 10-day contracts.
Maybe there's something.
Why not?
That's like the most earnest desire of every BYU Jazz fan. It's like, please don't Jimmer.
Even if it's just the Stars, it'd be fun to watch him play in person again, like in NBA-ish style basketball.
I hear you. I'd just be a little sad for James because G League dog, and you're Jimmer.
I know, but he's had a great.
And you're Jimmer.
The thing is, like, even though the NBA
hasn't
panned out the way the BYU fans obviously wanted it to for Jimmer, he's still accomplished great things.
Yeah, no argument there. I'm just saying, like, I don't want you in the G League.
Where do you want him then? Like, if you had your choice
in the EuroLeague,
you want him in EuroLeagues. Yeah. Playing for Barcelona against Brandon Davies
on a EuroLeague team. It doesn't have to be Barca per se. Like, it could be, like Elijah Bryant with his team in Turkey.
Because he was playing for Panathinaikos, which was like a EuroLeague team.
That setup stunk. They were playing everybody equally, like 25 minutes a game, and Patino was.
You want him to be the guy on a EuroLeague team, the dude.
I'm okay if he's a guy on a EuroLeague team. He doesn't need to be the guy. I don't think he walks in and is the guy on a EuroLeague team right now. Like, he can be one of the guys, top guys.
Is the EuroLeague even set up to host a guy like Jimmer Fredette? That is the question. Like, a guy that is ball dominant. Like, I don't know that the EuroLeague is that way.
Like, yeah.
Luka made it that way because Luka was Luka.
Well, Luka's Luka. You're an NBA MVP candidate, right?
Exactly. That is the exception.
Jimmer came a decade early. He came a decade too early. I think if he comes a decade later, he would have been.
Things are different.
Yes, the style of play, like James Harden, Steph Curry usage rates that high, would be more accepted. Now they're like, oh, you're a 6'2" wide guy? No, we're not giving you the ball. Like, it's just different. It's a different era.
Man, timing.
Timing's everything. It really is.
Timing, and don't go to Sacramento.
Like, for basketball or period?
No comment.
Shout out to our Sacramento homies.
No, I kid. I like Sacramento. I just don't like the Kings situation for Jimmer.
Yeah, I feel you. Coming up.
Maybe I should wear my Kings jersey.
Elite voice of the day. I have a Jimmer Kings.
Yeah, you gave me one. You bought multiple.
Oh,
you gave me one.
Are you going to buy 2 of that shirt and give one to me?
Maybe. Maybe. A Horizon shout out to a wedding Mark Pope would absolutely approve of. It was unbelievable. BYU Sports Nation.
Tell me no without saying no.
Utah is a special place. Our communities, the people, the history, there's no place quite like Utah. At Siegfried and Jensen, we're honored to say that we are from Utah. We live here, work here, and when someone is injured, we're proud to say we've helped a neighbor when they've needed it most. We know Utah. At Siegfried and Jensen, we're here for you. Call us today.
Summer is back, and that means BYU TV's Super Girls of Summer are too. In fact, they're just like you. Whether you're loyal, determined, funny, smart, or all of the above, you're sure to make the connection with our Super Girls of Summer. Watch the Super Girls of Summer all season long on BYU TV or on the free app.
There are things happening in Seaburg.
They care more about people spending money than they do about people getting sick.
If they're causing toxic pollution, it is everyone's fight. We can't just let them get away with it.
If anyone can figure this out, it's my brother.
Friends don't abandon each other. Fine. Be heroes.
I know what it's like to love someone so much you'd do anything for them.
Whatever happens, I'm glad we're facing it together.
Me too.
This portion of BYU Sports Nation is presented by Mountain America, the official credit union of BYU Athletics.
This program is on demand. Download the BYU TV and BYU Radio apps today. Download the pod as well on your favorite podcast platform. Please subscribe, rate, and give us a generous review.
Our question of the day, how will you know if BYU makes a recruiting jump as a member of the Big 12?
They win the national championship.
Our elite voice of the day, presented by Sundance Mountain Resort, Jared Hawkinson on Facebook says, if within 3 to 5 years, BYU is at the top of the conference consistently like they were in the other conferences they were in previously. You need to see them at the top of the conference and the recruiting is working? Or how about you just win games? Because, like you said, 4 or 5 years ago, I just read these names to you. 2018 class, Gunnar Romney, Zach Wilson, Dallin Holker, Connor Pay, Dax Milne, Tyler Algier.
That's a really good
18 class was ranked 77th. Did it matter?
Well, Dallin Holker is yet to have the year that justifies his kind of 4-star. He's going to this year and next year.
Let's go.
He's going to.
Let's go.
Yeah.
Today's Rise and Shout Out presented by Mountain America, the official credit union of BYU Athletics.
Alex and Zoe Barcelo getting married by Mark Pope, who officiated
the wedding.
Shout out to Peyton and Chrissy Wilgar as well, welcoming baby Madden Ray Wilgar into the world. Congratulations to all those families.
I can't think of a better family or a more ready family for a child than the Wilgars based on the Blue story, right?
They're ready.
Holy cow. Thanks to today's guest, Dennis Pitta. We had time for him.
We did have time for him, and the conversation continues 24/7 on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. Use the hashtag BYUSN.
For Jarom, I am Spencer. Shout out to Chris Smith while we're talking about great tight ends at BYU. Go Cougs.